Today's Black Panther Newspaper article is from June 14th, 1969, and it is Capitalism plus Racism Breeds Fascism. And the article is called Fascist Capitalist Contradictions. Hunger. The government has published study after study on poverty in the USA, the richest country in the world. They have spent millions of dollars describing phenomena, but we feel the hunger pains, or we live in fear of the day when the money will run out every day of our lives. We know that in objective reality, people are going hungry, but there is one question that the government reports don't answer, and that is, why in this great big rich country are tens of millions of people going hungry every day? They can't answer that question because to do so would spell out their own doom. Because the reason people are starving in this country is fascism. The avaricious capitalist, the fascist dog policeman, and the fascist politician are all in the same racket, robbing the people by maintaining this system. Exploitation. We do all the work, they get all of the bread. We work in their factories and we work on their farms. The capitalist sells the value we create with our own labor, whether we're making automobiles or picking grapes, packaging soap or picking cotton. He sells the product for $10 and he pays us $2 for the hour's work we put in on that product. Every minute, every hour, every day, the capitalist robs us. He takes the $8 and gives us the $2. Now he thinks he's slick. His kids go to private schools in Europe. Our kids go hungry. He eats steak. We eat beans and grits. He doesn't care if we get mad and quit because he knows that millions of us are on the street looking for jobs. But he ain't as slick as he thinks because the working people, the poor and oppressed people, this includes unemployed workers, can't buy back everything we produce when it's sold for $10 and we only have $2. So the avaricious capitalist can't sell all his goods. In order to keep the market price up, he starts burning bread and throwing the wheat into the sea while we are going hungry. The people rebel. But Black people, and for that matter, all poor and oppressed people in this country and around the world are getting hip to the man's game. We're getting hip to fascism, the regime of exploitation, oppression, and imperialism. We are getting hip to what capitalism is all about, and the people with the leadership of their vanguard party are going to put an end to an insane system that has the masses who produce the wealth starving while the avaricious capitalist is dumping food into the ocean to keep the prices up. We have learned that all the talk about American democracy and freedom is a lot of abstract bullshit. Because as long as the very few live off the sweat of the very many, and as long as our communities are occupied by the fascist pig forces, as long as the state apparatus serves the privileged few instead of serving the people, as long as the people let them continue to exist, we are no more than slaves to fascism. The power of finance capital. But we are getting wise to the system and we aren't going to be slaves anymore. Bunchy said, for a slave of natural death who dies can't balance out two dead flies. I'd rather be without the shame, a bullet lodged within my brain, if I were not to reach our goal. Let bleeding cancer torment my soul. We will die fighting before we submit to the fascism, capitalism, and racism that we have been subjected to for the last 400 years. Why fascist tactics against the Black Panther Party? The Black Panther is dedicated to the goal of putting an end to the super exploitation and oppression of Black people in this country as people. And we are internationalists because our fight will not end until all the peoples of the world are free, until fascism has been smashed. Since the people are real heroes and the real makers of history, we know that in the end, we will be victorious because we are on the side of the people. But we must understand the words of Chairman Mao. There are no straight roads in the world. We must be prepared to follow a road which twists and turns and not try to get things on the cheap. It must not be imagined that one fine morning all the reactionaries will go down on their own accord. There are still many difficulties ahead which we must not overlook. By uniting with the entire people in a common effort, we can certainly overcome all difficulties and win victory. When we recognize the danger of fascism, we recognize that only a united people led by an organized, disciplined, and politically educated vanguard party can overcome the forces of reaction in this country. Now, the ruling class has one way of keeping themselves in power: butcher-like repression. Priest-like deception, or keeping the people fooled by lying to them. This is only successful to the extent that the masses of people are ignorant and therefore passive. But the Black Panther Party is not falling for tricky dicks, tricks, and lies. We are not falling for Black capitalism and cultural nationalism. And we are not going to let the oppressed people of the world be divided over the petty things such as racism, because we know that we have a common oppressor. We have a common oppressor. And we know that we have to stand together. We need to stand together to defeat fascism. The Black Panther Party is a righteous threat to the avaricious businessmen and their whole apparatus, fascist dog policemen and fascist politicians, because we recognize and understand revolutionary struggle, and at the same time we know that revolutionary struggle is only successful with the support of the people. Therefore, we see our prime tasks as serving the people, breakfast, educating the people, China's papers, liberation schools, and arming the people for armed self-defense, and never forgetting that we are like oxen to be ridden by the people. We know that the ruling class definitely cannot cope with the politically educated and armed people. With the successes of the Black Panther Party and other revolutionary working class groups, and with the emergence of revolutionary alliances, we would be fools to think that the imperialist fascist class is about to sit back and let us take over. No. They're going to make a desperate attempt to crush the revolutionary movement. They cannot hold us down any longer with their hypocritical priest-like deception, because we have gotten wise to their lies. So now they must resort to butcher-like repression. Every week we read in our paper about more incidents of pig terrorism against our party. We read about the New York 21, the Connecticut 8. We read about Los Angeles, Chicago, Denver, and Cleveland. Panthers are being jailed, vamped on, killed. We must understand that they are now resorting to terrorist and fascistic tactics because we have righteously threatened their security, and every day that the party continues to function, we get stronger and they get weaker. This is why they want to wipe us out by any means necessary. In the end, we know we will win. We also know that there will be twists and turns all along the way. Although our struggle is an arduous one, we are the people and the future is ours. There will be setbacks along the way, and we must not underestimate the enemy because he can inflict heavy casualties upon us. We must realistically recognize problems and difficulties so that we can righteously deal with them and not be caught unaware. We recognize the rising tide of fascistic acts of terror being used against our party, and we call upon the people to join us in our effort to create a united front against fascism. By uniting with the entire people in a common effort, we can certainly overcome all difficulties and win victory. Power to the people!